Cycle 4, release, and then you finished within your class the transformation. So why release? Because you're stopping to tell students what to do and when to do it. You start telling what to achieve, and so they are free to choose what to do in order to achieve the objectives you are going to tell them. So first we need to work by objective. It's explained in the video what I mean working by objectives, and when once you have seen the video with the students, you check. Then, as a teacher, you need to formulate the objectives of the next chapter. It's probably very specific to the topic you teach. Is it math? Is it literacy, numeracy, science, history, and so on? So it's typically being able to, but that's explained on the document and in that video. So you define the success of a test, of an assessment, and just being able to do half of the exercises of the test successfully does not mean that you master that topic good enough, because especially since after the test, you are going to forget a lot. Yeah, it's a good idea to set up that threshold, success threshold, to 80% or 70%, for example. So once the threshold, for example, 80% is defined and you communicate it to the students, you check. Display a progress board, probably on the wall, about the objectives. So that's also explained in the video, the progress grid in some videos of this course. You have one line for every student, one column for every objective, and you check every time a student succeeds an assessment. Succeeds an assessment, and you cheer, you celebrate that success with a positive emotion, and you, at the same time, you check, you tick in that progress board. For that student, that objective is done, is reached. Provide optional training exercises with answers. So these are the exercises you already provided in cycle 2, I think. Yes, these. So you had a checklist with plenty of exercises. It's the same, in fact. These are the same exercises. The difference now is that they are optional. So now they are optional. But the objective is mandatory. That's a way to train, an optional way to train you give them. But also you give them a way to get the explanations, because if you are the only source of explanations, you will soon be the bottleneck. It can be from just a page number in the existing textbook. That will be okay. You don't have to write yourself pages and pages. You will also check this box here when you provided a video, not a video of yourself. It could be of yourself, but we don't ask for so much. Just search the internet for a video about that topic, about these explanations. And once you found a video which you think is appropriate, you provide them to the students. Next is setting up a schedule for taking the assessments. I mean, it would be a mess if any students could take any assessment anytime. So maybe it's 10 minutes before the end of the course, they can you say who'd like to be assessed now. You have a few students who come. What chapter? What chapter? What chapter? You distribute quickly the exercises to do, with no solutions, of course, during the assessment, but not any time. You have to agree with your students when they can ask to take a test, because they will asked to take tests. It's here. Students became test seekers. They they have pressure on objective. They know that the grade book is not filling by itself, and they are aware towards cycle 3. They are aware of the points between the grade book and the tests taken, the assessments taken. So they are hurry to retake a failed test, or to take a new test, and to hurry up a little bit on their progress. Okay, so this is about when they take tests, and also some students are not ready to manage the new freedom on about what to do when. You need to be more directive, to give more specific small tasks. No, you do this. No, you do that. No, you can stand up. No, you cannot talk to another student. I'd like you to finish this first. So identify these students and be more directive with them. Once you've done that, check. Delegate the organization and correction of tests. Especially we talked about in the previous cycle, closed questions and open questions, especially with the closed questions test. You have other students, assistants who are correcting this test, or they correct tests from each other, and you just ensure they don't cheat. Allow retesting under condition of showing work. Yeah, of course, if you failed the test this morning, you can do it again tomorrow. But if you failed miserably, for example, you got 30% instead of 80, please show me some work, some evidence that you have worked, that you trained in between. And that's why I insist having this kind of notebooks with sheets that you cannot detach. They are never supposed to train on paper that can fly and be lost, on loose paper. That should be forbidden a few cycles ago. So you have a test in this course about work by objective. Where is it? It's here. So cycle 4, work by objective. Okay. It's just being able to tell for every situation if it's an activity or an objective. Activity, objective is explained in this course document. So once the teacher succeeds the test, you check here. Once the students all succeed the test, you check here. Students have the test statement at the beginning of the chapter. Yes, of course, before you start the chapter, you tell what's the target, what's the objective you did formulate for that chapter. And after, you give some optional training exercises, or eventually written explanation and intern video, and even later you provide a mini course explaining that, which might be optional for the students who has succeeded these objectives. Okay, so you give that upfront, the objectives. Now, students now are free to go faster or slower, so it should have some difference between students. The fastest is 2 chapters ahead of the slowest, for example. Students became test seekers. We explained that they want to take a test. They need to take a test. If you feel that as a teacher, check. If you feel that as students, as a group of students, check here. The teacher corrects only a minority of tests since he has assistants, whereas that delegate organization and correction of tests. So the teacher do not bring correction work home. That's explained probably in a video and certainly in some document. Students who retake a test can't pass more easily because they remember of the first time they took the test. Okay, should have some random factor or some changing question or some additional spoken assessment with the teacher, even 30 seconds. So every success with a test is comes with a positive emotion and probably take in a check in the grade, the progress board. Okay, even if it's organized by students, the teacher is finally confirmed, validated, I would say, even if it takes 5 seconds only, by the teacher. And at the end, the teacher who congratulates, well done, good job, for having succeeded that test and reinforcing the good feeling about succeeding tests. That's quite important for motivation. Do not overlook that. So report cards results are directly depending on the tests and not the behavior in class. Okay, as we insisted in cycle 3. Also, the answers are available to them. Students do not cheat. They just, when they do the exercises, so not during the assessment, but when they train with the exercises, because they have optional training exercises answers, they do not cheat because they could skip doing this exercise and go directly to the test. And the teacher, remember, who looks at the whole class, where was that? Cycle 2. The teacher who has a look on the whole class very frequently is behind the back of every student, looking, watching at what is the student doing and was that done seriously. And maybe if there is any doubt, ask the student if he understands with small questions what he is doing. Okay, so where were we? Cycle 4, test. Yeah, they don't cheat. So for that page, that's it. Next page, we'll split that with another video. Thank you.